Let me bring in Matt Whitaker now, former acting attorney general. Matt, welcome. Good morning. We haven't seen you weigh in on this morning. Very dramatic moment on the sidewalk in front of the Senate side, which I think is fascinating. I don't know if he thought they were going to grab him if he went over to the House side and make him come in and testify. But your thoughts on that, Matt, and what you saw so far unfolding today. He's gone now. No closed-door testimony.
Right. This is political theater at its best. Well, perfectly scripted from the Hunter Biden team to make their points, to score, as many points as they possibly can, and then to ultimately walk away. And so the American people will sort of see him speaking at the Capitol, but without the liability or risk that it would otherwise involve, Martha. I think we're going to right now see whether there's a two-tiered system of justice. I think that, in the documents case, Joe Biden got a walk. President Trump continues to fight through that. But, we had people like Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon that were indicted by DOJ for ignoring a congressional subpoena. And now that Hunter Biden has done it, we'll see whether Merrick Garland is willing to do it. But, the one other thing I would like to make on this point is that Hunter Biden's team had a very simple calculation. He's already facing 6 felony charges for guns and taxes. He's got about 6 misdemeanor charges as well on the tax case. So one more misdemeanor for ignoring a congressional subpoena. I think they were willing to risk that legally because he's in real hot water with those other cases.
Yeah. Listening to this discussion prior to this hour that Dana and Bill were having about the Department of Justice and talking with Andy McCarthy and whether or not they will actually pursue any of this because, Congress has very limited powers when it comes to this. And I think the American people watch all this and they say, oh, here we go again. Nothing ever happens to these people. We watch it time and time again, from Hillary Clinton to, some might put President Trump in there as well, with impeachments. And, we watch how political they are once they move through the majorities in the House and Senate. What would you say to folks at home who are kind of throwing up their hands at this morning?
They have every right to be frustrated. I'm here in Iowa today, where I was born and raised and live, and I would tell you that a lot of this that happens in Washington, D.C. is oftentimes discarded as just pure politics. But when the Department of Justice, puts their thumb on the scale of justice, I think that is noticed. And, I think Merrick Garland is going to have to ultimately indict him, Hunter Biden, for ignoring this congressional subpoena, because you remember when he appointed the special counsel, and then as soon as those documents were found hidden in Joe Biden's garage behind the Corvette, he felt obligated to appoint Rob Hur as special counsel. And so I think he's going to have the same obligation here after indicting, 2 Trump associates for the exact same ignoring a congressional subpoena. I think he's going to have to do this case. And if he doesn't, I will come back on here and say that is the most obvious example of the two-tier system of justice we've seen to date.
When you watch this process, and this afternoon, this is a big day. We had this happen this morning. Later on, you're going to hear the impeachment inquiry vote. So the House will decide if they have a simple majority, which would allow them to move forward with this impeachment inquiry of the sitting president right now. Tell us what your thoughts are there. Tell us what you expect to see this afternoon if that vote goes through, and then what happens politically.
Well, it ratchets up. And I think that Mike Johnson, it seems to me, would not bring that vote unless he is pretty confident and has counted noses to see who's going to vote for impeachment inquiry. And then, obviously, that gives them sort of the most tools to do the investigation. And I think it puts more teeth in what they're doing. But at the end of the day, as I said, when President Trump was being investigated by the Congress under Nancy Pelosi, impeachment is a political operation. And so ultimately, I would be more interested in sort of these legal and judicial actions, including whether or not Merrick Garland has the guts to enforce a congressional subpoena and future congressional subpoenas if others during this impeachment inquiry ignore those legitimate subpoenas.
Matt Whitaker, thank you very much. We've got a lot going on today. Good to have you here.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.